Hello, Eagle fans. Jonathan Duran coming to you from the NCCU Sports Network studio for a homecoming edition of our Eagles pregame show. Happy homecoming to all of you Eagle fans listening. I hope you enjoy the day. Might be a little cold today, but still, it's always a great day in the Bull City and a great day to be an Eagle. Well, North Carolina Central is playing the sequel to the movie from 2 years ago. The Eagles hosting Norfolk State for homecoming once again. 2 years ago, it was the Spartans who came away with the narrow win. The Eagles looking for revenge this time around, and this game is going to be a good one. I'm really excited for it. I know the day has been fantastic. The parade, always a sight to see. I know the fried chicken, the grilled chicken, everything's going up at the tailgate right now. But now it's time to turn our attention to what's coming up for North Carolina Central. So now we have our usual pregame conversation with head coach Trei Oliver. And here's what he's got to say about this upcoming game and last week's game against South Carolina State. Everything just seemed to be right there for North Carolina Central. Coach, tough one for the Eagles. What'd you see from the team?
Well, again, like every other week, we played hard, and I thought we played for 60 minutes. And, we played a really good South Carolina State team. And I thought offensively, we moved the ball well. We had, well over 400 yards total offense, scored on the first possession. And then, from there, we just had issues, problems getting the ball in the end zone. Defensively, I thought that we played well in spurts. We gave up a couple of explosive plays that really hurt us. But I think we had to do a little bit better job on first down with our run defense. And then that will help enable us to get off the field on third down. And then the kicking game. I thought the kicking game let us down. We had been, playing pretty good ball on in the special teams this season. And, we had 2 missed field goals and a missed extra point. So when you had, leave points out there like that and then have 9 penalties, it's hard to, beat good teams like South Carolina State. So, we went back to the drawing board this week and talked to the guys and showed them, a lot of things that plays that we left out there and things we should have taken advantage of. But, it was a really good game, hard fought. We just came up short. So we hope to make some improvements this week.
Yeah, Coach, the Eagles really seemed to set the tone for the game at the beginning. You get the 3 and out, the defense I saw on the team on the sideline. They were jumping up and down, getting the crowd into it, scored 2 plays into the game. What was really behind that energy for the team at the start?
Well, we challenged the guys. We wanted to start fast, and I thought the defense came out and they made, 3 good plays, and we had a 3 and out early. Then the offense took the field, and like you said, we scored in 2 plays. So that's what we were looking for. That's when we challenged our guys. So I was really pleased to see that. We out to a fast start, but we just had to play a little bit smarter football throughout the process of the game.
And staying on the offensive side, over 400 yards, like you mentioned, Davius Richard, second play of the game, the 74-yard scamper. He had a tough one against Mississippi Valley State, and it really seems that he's really picked it up in the last couple of games. What's been behind his improvement?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with our offensive line play. We have a whole lot of guys that have been banged up and they were out, and we have a different offensive line, different 5 guys starting every week, it seems like. So I think that he's a little bit more comfortable and kind of settled down a little bit. A couple of games he was a little antsy and trying to force some things, but now he's a little bit more comfortable again, like he was at the beginning of the season, and he had time to deliver the ball. But we had to make plays on the perimeter, and you see, like against Morgan State, we made a lot of plays and on the perimeter, made tough catches and won the football game. This past week we had some drops. So, with the penalties and drop balls, again, you can't shoot yourself in the foot and expect to win the football game. But Davies is playing better. I think the offensive line is we're getting it. We're still down a little bit, got a bunch of guys beat up, but I like where we are, and I think we're progressing well.
Coach, you talked about, challenging this football team and getting ready for the next game. What are some of the positives from this last game from North Carolina Central that you can take forward? Because, as we talked about over the course of the season, the Eagles are continuing to improve. They seem like they're almost there. What are the steps the Eagles need to take to make that step?
Just we can't let the Eagles beat the Eagles. That's all it is. And I tell the guys, if we lose a game, let it be because the other team's better than us. Let's not lose to a team because, we're making mistakes and we're beating ourselves. So, that's the biggest thing we have to clean up. Just be more disciplined in certain areas. And when there are plays out there to be made, let's make the play. And, you see that, it's been a lot of one possession games and a lot of close games that we've come up short. So we just have to figure out how to finish the game and play complementary football in all three phases: offense, defense, and the kicking game.
Jonathan Durn alongside Eagles head coach Trei Oliver. Coach, if Saturday's football game was a movie, they'd put a Roman numeral 2 behind it. Homecoming, Norfolk State again. What have you seen from the Spartans while getting ready for this game?
Well, they're a good football team, and the biggest thing I think is a lot of parity in the league. But I think one thing that stands out about them is those guys they have an old team. And they have a lot of experience. You look down their roster, you see a lot of redshirt juniors, a lot of redshirt seniors. So, experience has a lot to do with it. And, great quarterback play. They have a really good quarterback. And that's where it all starts. So we have to be able to contain him. And, like I said, stop the running game and try to make them one-dimensional.
Yeah, Coach, the quarterback was going to be my next question for you. It's going to be a battle between the two quarterbacks with the big nicknames. You got Pee Wee going up against Pootie. Pootie Carter, he's been one of the top quarterbacks in the league over the last few years. We saw what he was able to do 2 years ago. What are you trying to do defensively against this Norfolk State team?
We have to do a better job this year containing him. He's like a magician back there. When we played him back in 19, we had him 4th and 15, 4th and 16, and he scrambled around. It seemed like forever. And we missed probably about 4 or 5 people, missed him in the backfield, and kept his eyes down the field and hit somebody downfield. So we just have to do a really good job with the defensive line, evening out our pass rush and keeping him in front of us. Every time we don't have to try to get a sack every play. Sometimes it's more or less just containing him. But it's something. He's a good football player, and he's on track to break Aaron Sparrow's record. And that was another good one. I had an opportunity to play against Aaron Sparrow back in the 90s. So he's a really good football player, and we're gonna have our hands full stopping him, but we have to play well up front.
All right, Coach. Well, it's homecoming. Of course, it's going to be packed stands. I don't want to say that I don't want to say that maybe the shock of having fans in the stands again has worn off now that we're 7-8 games into the season, but how excited are you to, returning home? Like, even though the fans, we've had them back for a few games, but it's homecoming. How excited are you for that?
I'm very excited, and it doesn't ever get old to have fans in stands. I mean, it's, you play all these road games and you're on the road. It seems like it's just you and the team. And now we're, back at home again. And, the fans have been great. Alumni is back in town this weekend for all the festivities. And, tell the guys, the one big event that everybody wants to see and talk about is the game. So, we'll enjoy homecoming after Saturday at around probably about 6 o'clock. But I'm so excited and thrilled to be able to get, see some former players and other alum, back on the yard.
I'm sure the Greek Bowl is going to be popping on Saturday.
It already is.
All right, Coach, what are the keys for North Carolina Central to be successful on homecoming?
Keys. First of all, we must stop the run. Okay. We need to win the kicking game. And we cannot beat ourselves. We have to improve on the penalties, drop balls, and, things of that nature. So we just have to play good, sound football. And I know we have enough talent to win this football game.
Coach, happy homecoming. Thanks for your time. Thank
you.
That's the Eagles head coach, Trei Oliver. Now let's go ahead and move to the defensive side of the ball as we get into our keys to the game. Defensive coordinator Juan Navarro, in the times that I've talked to him, he's talked about, bringing energy and matching the other team's energy. Well, North Carolina Central really did that. In the first quarter of the game, they forced South Carolina State 3 and out. The team on the sideline were pumping the crowd up. The crowd responded, and 2 plays later, the Eagles are in the end zone. But the Eagles still have some places where they can improve. Here's Coach Navarro talking about this Eagle defense. All right, Coach. Well, last week, North Carolina Central had South Carolina State. Game goes right down to the wire, but Bulldogs able to take it. the Eagles really jumped out really well defensively to start that game. Coach, you talk about matching the other team's energy, and I really feel that North Carolina Central was able to do that in the early stages of the game last week.
That's right. I thought we came out. I thought Coach Oliver had a plan to say, hey, obviously the offense needs to start fast. We need to start fast on defense. And that's what we did. I think our kids really took a home to that, and they met the challenge on. And I thought that we had played well, for some good, consistent series.
Yeah, Coach, this is the top scoring defense in the league for North Carolina Central, and this South Carolina State team, very explosive. Again, just the 24 points, again, 24 on the wrong side of the scoreboard, but still for a team that, has the ability to sling the ball around as such as South Carolina State. What do you see from the defense, and where do you see they can still improve?
I think our run defense needs to obviously consistently improve. I think that we're very inconsistent when it comes down to some of the fits and stuff, and the run fits relative to where different guys, end up at the final spots. I think that's where we need to make our biggest improvement. And you know what? Some of it is that we have multiple guys, playing different positions, from week to week and stuff like that. But that's not ever going to be given as an excuse. But that's just, again, something that you have to work through in the course of the week to getting them, to fit different pictures and different formations and so on and so forth. And that's why I talk about so much about seeing the picture and fitting the picture, because everybody has to be on the same accord when we're doing when we're fitting, runs on 11 versus 11.
Head coach, for a team that likes to pass the ball as much as South Carolina State, Juwan Hudson, he really stepped up in that game. It was him. I saw Cole Williams, Manny Smith as well. Coach, this defense really still continuing to improve. But again, where do you think the next step is for this team?
I think overall the next step is going to be, like I said, the consistency of the run defense. I think the consistency of the run defense needs to really build up. I think the consistency of some of the players that we need to be able to generate depth. I think that some of the players are taking. So there are particular players at certain positions that are taking an overload of repetitions. That I think that versus a player operating at 80%, at 90%, and then now that same player who's pretty good but's better at 50 plays at 90% rather than 60 plays at 70%. So we have to get the depth of the defense to be a little better and a little more consistent in what they know and stuff like that. And some of that stuff is coaching, but some of that stuff is also experience. We need to get to develop that depth that has pretty good experience with it. So that's where I think that we can take the biggest things. Again, run defense and consistency in the run fits relative to everybody from tiers 1, 2, and 3.
Jonathan Duran with the Eagles defensive coordinator Juan Navarro. Coach, homecoming for North Carolina Central. It's Norfolk State coming up. What have you seen from the Spartans?
Oh man, they are a productive and scoring offense. Mr. Carter does a great job overall of distributing the football. He knows what he wants to do. They have a plan for moving those chains, and they have the ability to threaten you vertically at any point. Now, I do think that similar to what I said last week for South Carolina State, the Spartans also have a very good running back core. They're physical. They run behind their pads. They get the ball downfield. And the one thing about them is that they're very, very aggressive. And similar to last week, we're going to have to match the aggression of their play. We're going to have to go in there, and it can't be for 2 quarters. It can't be for 3 series. It's going to have to be for the entirety of the game.
All right, Coach, what are the overall keys for North Carolina Central to be successful?
North Carolina Central, number one, must stop the run. And again, it's going to start with the mentality that we have for stopping the run. We need max numbers, and we need to be able to get more than one hat to the football, okay? Because one hat isn't going to get nor Carter nor any of the backs down. We're going to need multiple hats to get them down on the turf. Second of all, we need to make sure that our mentality for how we approach down the down is accurate. What I mean by that is know the down and distance, have the awareness for the situation and the formation so that we are able to recognize sets before they happen. And then the third point is going to be the vertical pass game. Our awareness has to be super high relative to the alignments of the receivers and what routes we're getting during what times. So again, when you put all those three things together, that's what we're going to do. The overall blanket that we put on this week's goal is it's all about mentality. It's how you go into this game and how you approach this game. The game of college football is about young people. Young people control energy, and whether or not your guys can manage their energy or not, that has a very large part of it when it comes down to college football. People don't realize that, but young people rule college football. Young people are emotional. So how do you keep their emotions positive? How do you keep their emotions directed at a goal? How do you keep their emotions directed at a task? That's what I feel like this game is going to come down to.
All right, Coach, and emotions are going to be high for homecoming. So, Coach, looking forward to seeing a great game out there. Thanks for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And I was moved from the defensive side to the offensive side. Got an opportunity to speak with offensive coordinator Matt Leone, and we talked a little bit about how this Eagle team has really started to hit its stride offensively in the last few weeks, and especially with Davius Richard. He had a rocky game against Mississippi Valley State, if you remember that, but now he threw for almost 300 yards against South Carolina State, threw for over 300 against Morgan State, seems to be coming into his own, but still this Eagle team still a couple of steps away from really being able to put everything together. So here's our conversation with our offensive coordinator, Matt Leone.
All right, Coach. Well, North Carolina Central, tough one against South Carolina State, goes right down to the edge. Offensively, things really seem to be clicking for North Carolina Central. Let's go ahead and start on the positives. Davius Richard, another near 300-yard passing day. Had that tough game at Mississippi Valley State, but, how has he turned it around since then?
I think you're just starting to see him mature in the offense, having a good understanding of what we're trying to accomplish per each play, and then just playing within himself, not trying too hard to make plays. Just take what the defense gives you and allow plays to develop and happen, and then trusting his teammates to make the plays around him. So I think he's done a good job with that. I think he still has plenty of stuff to improve on, but he's improving each week.
And the Eagles really seem like they set the tone. 74 yards on the second play of the game. How surprised were you to see that get broken open?
It's kind of funny because Davius said that he was going to take that one to the house when we were going through the game plan and looking at it. And so he said, Coach, I asked him how he felt about opening script of the game. He said, Coach, we're going to score on the second play. And sure enough, he did that. So, but I wasn't surprised. He's a football player, competitor, and the guys up front blocked it up exactly the way we draw it up. And they did a good job of creating that hole for him. And then he just ran through it. His part was easy.
Yeah, 435 yards of total offense. The Eagles averaged, about 5 yards per play, but 12 and a half yards per completion through the air. But still just had some troubles just getting the ball into the box, as you guys like to say. Where can the Eagles improve on that going forward?
Definitely sustaining and finishing drives. We had some good drives that got to the red zone, and then we weren't able to finish. And we just got to do a better job. You do all that work to get down there. You want to put 7 on the board. So we got to do a better job of finishing drives. And that's just execution, not pressing once you get down there. Things do happen faster because the field condenses, but just playing within yourself and making plays when they come to you.
Well, Eagles 2 games into conference play now. Next up, it's homecoming against Norfolk State. What have you seen from the Spartans?
They're a good football team. They're solid on defense. They disciplined group. They play hard. They got some length on the defensive line. They're solid at linebacker, and then they got some good athletes in the secondary. They lead the conference right now in interceptions, and they and in the top 2 in a lot of categories on defense. So they're a stout group on that side of the ball. But we'll have a plan and we'll be ready.
All right, Coach, before I get to your keys here, it's just, looking at this team, they've played really well, had the big win against Morgan State, nearly able to get the win against South Carolina State. They really seem to be just nearly there. So in your opinion, Coach, where's the next step for this Eagle offense to take?
We keep talking about it, that we're really close, and it's hard to see that at times when you're in the middle of it, in the mix, but we keep telling our players that we're not far off. We're really close. And we just got to keep following the process, trust and believe in what we're doing and in each other. And we're going to get over the hump, as they like to say. We're really close. We just got to keep pressing through.
All right, Coach. Well, homecoming for the Eagles. What are the keys for North Carolina Central to be successful?
One, you mentioned it, Jonathan, is sustaining drives and finishing when we get in the red zone. We definitely need to do that. We still have to limit the penalties. Too many penalties on offense, and we got to limit the penalties. We had a drive that really got us behind the chains, and we can't afford to do that. We can't beat ourselves. And then ball security, that's always a big one. Is Norfolk has done a good job of creating turnovers, and we can't squander opportunities. We can't give them the football. We got to protect that football and finish drives and do a good job of making sure that we don't beat ourselves.
Coach, thank you so much for your time. Good luck.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan.
Well, those are your keys to the game. You just heard from offensive coordinator Matt Leone. Before that, defensive coordinator Juan Navarro. And, of course, at the beginning of the program, it was our head coach, Trei Oliver. Looking at the slate of games today, MEAC football, 6 teams, 3 games per week. Only 2 today. First game Thursday, Morgan State off the slide. They get the win in Charm City against Delaware State 20-14. The Bears get their first win in conference play. And South Carolina State trying to move to 4-0 against Howard today at 2 at the same time as our game against Norfolk State. The Spartans trying to improve to 3-0. Bulldogs and Bison, 2 o'clock on ESPN+. The Eagles and Spartans, of course, 2 o'clock on ESPN3. That game later will be shown on ESPNU. Jay Walker, Tiffany Green on the call this afternoon from the Nest. All right, so let's get to our game time forecast. 53 degrees and cloudy. Last week, we were blessed to be up around 60. It's not going to be the same today, so you might want to get your layers out today. Get the hand warmers, get some hot cocoa, some hot coffee, and keep yourself warm in the stands today. It's going to be a great day for homecoming. I'm excited. Can't wait to see you this afternoon. Let's go Eagles. I'm Jonathan Duran. Have a great day.